The United States has dramatically entered Israel's war against Iran.
Yeah, American jets bombed 3 nuclear sites over in the Islamic Republic. One of those sites was the infamous mountain facility at Fordo, a major uranium enrichment center hundreds of feet underground.
The U.S. completely obliterated its key nuclear enrichment centers, including the heavily fortified Fordo, a facility located 300 feet below the surface of the ground.
And when I looked up, I saw foreign jets flying overhead, dropping bombs on top of that nuclear power plant. It was because they had spies that knew where all of the nuclear power plants were in America, and that they were going to bomb all of these nuclear power plants, which was going to cause a nuclear explosion all over the place, and America was going to burn. This is why all of the land that I saw in that previous dream looked desolate, because it had all been burned up. In January 1st, 2006, I had a dream that I was standing above this military base. I was about a half a mile in the air above this military base close to my hometown. And I was looking down on that military base. I could see the whole base because the Lord had me suspended up in the air. And I heard a voice say, "This is Fort Polk." And I saw another military base. And this military base, in that, underground, was a nuclear power plant that was a secret that nobody was supposed to know about. And underground, this nuclear power plant, it was a whole military faction under there guarding that underground, keeping it a secret and operating it secretly from what America could see. And I saw soldiers walking around under there. And I was just walking around, looking around, and they couldn't see me. And he took me back up in the air, out from underneath the ground, back up in the air. And he took me back over to Fort Polk. And I about half a mile in the air again, looking down on it. And he said again, "This is Fort Polk." Then he took me back to this other place, this nuclear power plant. And I went back underground. And he allowed me to see other things going on under there. They were guarding this nuclear power plant. Now, why did he do that? He was trying to get me to understand that these were 2 separate military bases, and that the nuclear power plant that I saw underneath the ground was not Fort Polk, but it was close to it. And this last time he took me back to this other place, instead of taking me underground into the nuclear power plant, he took me and he sat me on top of it. And as I stood on top of it, I could see people walking around above it, and they had no idea that there was a whole military base underneath the ground, that there was a nuclear power plant underground. No idea. They're just going about their everyday life. No idea that they were living on top of a nuclear power plant. So this time he sat me on top of the ground. And when he sat me on top of the ground, he told me to look up. And when I looked up, I saw foreign jets flying overhead, dropping bombs on top of that nuclear power plant. It was because they had spies that knew where all of the nuclear power plants were in America, and that they were going to bomb all of these nuclear power plants, which was going to cause a nuclear explosion all over the place, and America was going to burn. This is why all of the land that I saw in that previous dream looked desolate, because it had all been burned up.